Welcome back to my channel. We're now going to go into the topic of drugs, alcohol, and just substance abuse. The whole lot of it, I'm not gonna lie. Hey. I tried to what's it called? I tried to say that I wasn't gonna slick my hair back, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't mind having my curls out here and there, but having them out all the time just makes me feel like there's a lot going on. I really like a slick back look. So guess what I'm about to do? I'm about to slick it back. Because I'm sorry, like when my hair grows longer, maybe then I can do a hair out. But until then, but it looks good though, doesn't it? Like it looks healthy. Like, guys, remember when I cut my hair off? Remember when I was short? Remember when I was doing finger waves? I'm not gonna lie, low key miss that girl because she kind of ate, and sometimes I feel like I need to go back to that, but I'm not going to. But I just don't wanna. My dilemma is I don't want to slick my hair back, but then I don't want my hair out. If that makes sense. Like it's just a lot. It's just a lot. Gosh, being a girl is so hard because you just got to make so many decisions. And it's like, I can't make these decisions by myself all the time, but I got to. Can I help you? Can I actually help you though? Like, is everything all right? I'm not gonna lie. Tell me. I think I kind of touched on quite a bit in my mentals, because my mentals had a lot to do with all the substance abuse that I was under, etc., etc. Because battling with mental health kind of just takes you to a strange place. Like it really took me to a dark place. I'm not going to lie to you. So let's get back to like when I first started Mary Jane, or what people like to call her, cannabis, weed, marijuana. I actually first tried that when I was like in high school, like 15, 16. One of those times with my friend, like went to town. Obviously, I don't think my mom ever knows this story. Like, I don't think she's ever known this story, to be fair. But went to town, we done some shopping then. She was a smoker, but I decided, let me try it. I'm not going to lie to you, nothing happened to me at that point. Did not feel it, didn't understand it, but I was like, okay, this is nice, so I faked it.
I'm nodding like I understand, but I'm not so sure I do.
I faked being high. I was like, oh, this is nice. Whole time, I'm completely sober. Skip forward then, get to when I went on holiday back home. I went back home, and that is when I actually properly indulged in it, which ended up, like I said, ended up in a certain circumstance, which again, I was high, so I wasn't really I wasn't sober. I wasn't aware of what's going on, and the Bible says, to be sober minded. I was not. Now skipping forward to that was in 2018. Skipping forward to 2019. That was in 2017. I lied. Skipping forward to 2019 uni. So this is when it really, really gets intense, because this is when I fully commit myself to a life of being a weed smoker. Got to uni, and I think it was like the second or third night. I lived with I lived with 3 guys and 3 girls, including myself. And I remember this one time, one of the guys, who's still a very good friend of mine, with his friends, and then he knocked on my door and was like, do you use like smoke? And I was like, I tried it in 2017 in it, but I properly done it when I was on holiday in 2017. So I said, yeah, I did, let's go in it. And by that point in my life, I knew how to smoke. So went down and we just smoked, and I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I really like this feeling. Like, this feeling is sweet. Um, at that point, I wasn't abusing it to escape my mind or anything. At that point, I was just genuinely enjoying the feeling of like, there's no thoughts in my mind. And it kind of relates to like escaping the feelings of my mind, but it was nice to just be completely zoned out. Um, so then I started, smoking with them more often. Then it led to me buying weed for myself now. And at that point, I didn't know how to actually roll or anything. So I'd have to ask the guys to do it for me. And it just kept progressing. Like, it went really quickly. And this kind of ruined my uni experience, because then now it took me to a point of, I'm so high, I'm missing lectures. I'm so high that I'm not doing anything but sleeping or chilling. And then, the idea of always wanting to fit in everywhere. So then I continue, and then remember I asked one of the guys to teach me, how do you build this? How do you do this? Teach me, please, which is a big mistake, because once you learn how to do it, you're just gonna continue doing it, basically. So I learned, and then gradually I had these two girls that I lived with who absolutely I love to bits. Funnily enough, God still has them in my life, even though we went through a lot in uni. Because I was really close to them, and all of a sudden, I've got a new group of friends who I used to smoke with 24/7. And I love every single person that I have met, genuinely. I feel like everyone has taught me something, and everyone has added some sort of value to my life. So I have no like negative feelings towards anyone. So yeah, I started just hanging around with more different people, and these people smoked weed like myself. The girls I lived with didn't, so it was like, okay, I want to be around people that do what I do. Not gonna lie. So it kind of just continued to intensify itself. Like, I'm now smoking, I'm now billing up for everyone. I've always got the weed. Like, I've always got weed. There was not a time, even if in the 20s, there was times where I'd go out, like, and I can't lie, nitty behavior. I'm like, I need to pick up, like, who's selling, like, come on. To the point when I deep it now, like, come on, Nisa. That is actually not good behavior. So yeah, the behavior that I was showing was very itching for it, dying for it.
You're dying for it.
So at this point in my life, my family didn't know I smoked. Again, I've always been very against smoking, which is it's a big shock. My family didn't know, so I wouldn't really want to come back home, because if I come back home, it's really difficult for me to smoke, because no one actually knows that I smoke around here. So yeah. When my mom found out, she came to my university with my stepdad and my little brother, and there was one time, and she just looked in my eyes. I can't remember exactly how it played out. She just looked in my eyes. She went, because I wouldn't look at her, I tried to look down, but she saw my eyes, and she just said, I'm so disappointed in you. When I tell you, my heart dropped. I said, eh. My mum knows. My mama knows. That didn't stop me though. Not gonna lie. Did not stop me. I'm also a very stubborn person, so I will do what I think is best for me. I would not really take into consideration what other people would think or say. This played a part in me and my mom's relationship a lot, because she hated what I was doing. And I mean, it wasn't a great thing I was doing, but yeah. So now at uni, I'm still smoking. Lockdown hits, and I moved back to Manchester, and I kind of again found friends from the past who were doing things that I was doing, and the validation of I'm doing it. they're doing it. We're doing it together. So I kind of felt, again, validated. I felt good that I'm with people that are on the same thing that I'm doing. So 2020, again, I've made friends, and all I'm doing every day is smoking. When I say I'm smoking to the point that I'm high already, but let me smoke another just because. And let me smoke another just because. And then let me go again just because. Because it's there, I can do it. Because I bought it, I can do it. It's mine. So I spent a lot of money on this. The thing is, I've always been working and I make good money, but half of that money, to be honest, went towards weed. It went towards, just pouring into weed. Now, let me invite alcohol into this because alcohol came to us in uni as well. So we're going out, every socials, every clubs, we're always out and I'm always drinking. Like, to enjoy myself, I needed to be drunk and high. I would always do the most. When I want to drink, I'm drinking again till I'm drunk. It just made things easier like when I say, yeah, there was like 2 or 3 occasions, bit more, that I was completely so drunk that I blacked out in the club. I have literally vomited my guts out. There's been many occasions. There came a point where I kind of got used to it. Like, now it took a lot for me to get drunk, but it would always be the worst when I am drinking and smoking, because those combinations, don't know who created that, but the enemy. But yeah, it got to that point where I was just like that. My family never saw that because I just never was that person around them. I never felt like my true self or comfortable. And I say my true self when it's really not my true self, because I'm just doing the most. They never saw that version of me at all. So yeah, the alcohol just really commenced in uni. Anywhere we go, I'm drinking regardless. Like, I'm drinking. Give me that bottle, give me this, give me that, give me shots and shots. And then going to Manchester, that continued. During lockdown, I was buying weed and what's it called, Magnums, hand in hand all the time. I would find any excuse to go for a walk. I'd find any excuse to do something, just get out of the house and go for a smoke and drink a Magnum, go to the park, sit down. And it was really hot that year when COVID hit. So I'd always be like in the park doing like smoking, just chilling, relaxing. I wasn't like up to craziness, but like I'd have my phone, I'd just be scrolling through TikTok, or I'd be reading books on iBooks. So I wasn't doing too much. But yeah, so that continued. That's in 2020 now. And the whole of 2020, I now developed going out to house parties, making new friends. It continued. Like, there was no escape for me. Everywhere I went, everyone's smoking. So now that my family knew I was smoking, I'd be smoking with my uncles and my aunties, and it was just everywhere around me. My birthday, I think it was my 20th birthday. Yeah, my 20th birthday, I got absolutely high out of my head. And obviously my mom hated it, but at that point, I'm like an adult, so you can't really say too much. And I wasn't listening. You could say what you want to say, but I promise you, I was not taking her in. Didn't want to hear it. Not a bit of me. Yeah. So let's change location because I'm a bit hungry, so let's go downstairs. It just got to a point where I was just always smoking, always getting high. That's all I wanted to do. Wherever I went, just giving me. So we were out clubbing a lot. Not even clubbing because it was lockdown, so you couldn't go clubbing. But we were at house parties 24/7. So at this point, when I say my mom, leftover Chinese guys, just makes sense. Yeah, it got to a point where my mom kind of had enough. Like, we'd always get in arguments, we're always in some sort of issue. My stepdad would hate it. Like, I'm always coming home and I smell of weed, there was just a lot going on behind the scenes. So whilst everyone else is seeing that I'm outside enjoying life, you know, woo, for Nisa at home, it was headache after headache after headache. And then not only that, I'm dealing with my own mental problems. Like I said in the mentals video, I've got a lot going on in my brain. Like, I'm sorry, I don't even have the capacity to even get out of bed sometimes. But all I'll do is get up, go smoke outside. Or I would sit on the windowsill of my room, shut my door, block out the smell, sit there, listen to some depressed music, and just smoke. And I usually do that when everyone's asleep because ain't nobody smelling that one day fast asleep. But yeah, so it kind of it took a toll on me because now it went from pleasurable to using it to escape something, which was not smart at all. At this point, yeah, I'm just doing again. I feel like the main thing in this season, well, not in this season, it was a very long season, a 5-year long season. It was literally just doing too much. Not knowing that, I feel like my mom's always said something to me was, you know, don't overuse something, like do things in moderation. Yeah. I did not have that. I did not have moderation. I was just doing. Like, moderation was not part of my vocabulary. So whilst I'm just doing, my mental health is deteriorating even more and more and more. So I got kicked out. This one I had a dog called Callie. Those that remember her, she was a beautiful American bulldog. Absolutely loved her. I had her, got kicked out, you know, sadly. Went to stay at one of my friends at that point. I stayed on her couch, and again, it's a friend that all we did was smoke. Like, we'd always be buying weed 24/7, going out, smoking, doing everything, but we had to smoke. Like, I had to smoke to eat. I had to smoke to leave the house to go to the shop. I had to smoke before doing absolutely anything. I was a proactive smoker. So at times, yeah, I may be in a state of mind where I was depressed and I couldn't get out of bed and I'm feeling low. But when I had to work or when I had to do something, I'm very proactive. So I've got to do something. I would be smoking before I do that. Before I went to work, I would smoke. Like, it was just part of who I was at that point. Yeah, we're going out and we're smoking. We're just smoking. Like, guys, I don't know how many more times I have to say all I did was smoke. And then, again, alcohol, they just mixed well. Like, they blended so well together that I'd go out and I'm always taking shots. As soon as we get in the club, where's the shots? You know, give me the drinks, give me it all. Like, I'm that girl. I was that girl. I'm not that girl anymore, thank God. So yeah, still doing whatever. What year we get into now? 2020. That was mix of 2020 and 2021. 2022, at this point, I moved out of my parents' home. I came back for a bit and then I moved out. And when I moved out now, I moved into a really nice apartment. You know, my life was going well. Again, I'm working. Things are going good. Then I get, like, I'm still smoking at this point. Then I get hit with a health problem. I started losing feelings in my legs even more, to the point, like, when I tell you it broke me down, I was on different medication, 24/7, gabapentin. Again, they were giving me mental health ones, things to help with my mental health and also help with pain. You know, amitriptyline, nortriptyline, all these things. Like, I'm taking so many things as well as weed, to the point that I remember one time I had a panic attack and I FaceTime my mom and I was like, Mom, I felt like my jaw was literally breaking. And she's looking at me like, no, it's not, Nisa. Like, you're just paranoid. And I'm like, I've never experienced paranoia before while smoking. So I was like, no, I'm not. This is actually happening. Like, I was literally so adamant that my jaw was breaking. And bear in mind, I just smoked and then I took my medication. So it was a mixture of a lot of things. And then I started taking a lot more, you know, the canisters, the laughing gas things. Like, I was never really a fan of them because I think the one time I took it, like, the way I kept yawning, and I know that obviously it stops oxygen from going to the brain. So I kind of knew I knew what it was, the consequences of it. I still done it when we were out for fun, but I would never take too much or never. That's one thing I knew in moderation. Funny. With that, yeah. So I started just now doing more because life was just feeling like it was absolutely falling apart. I'm not gonna lie to you. But like, all right, what's going on here? Can somebody explain to me what did I sign up for? So, hey Arlo. If you didn't know, this is my little doggy, my family dog Arlo. Yeah, I don't like the face of things, though. You can't lick me, So yeah, life was just doing a lot to me at that point, and then it kind of just broke down again. Family, relationships, friendships, a lot was just breaking down. But that didn't stop me from smoking. Like, smoking was my go-to place. The same way sadness was my go-to place, smoking was that place for me. It was my comfort place. Again, it silenced a lot of noise that was going on in my brain. It just silenced a lot for me, and it helped me feel at peace with a lot. So after living out there, I've moved out quite a few times. I moved back home. Me and mom had issues again. I still didn't want to stop smoking. Like, it just didn't occur to me that this is what I should stop. And there'll be times where, I can't lie, I did try, and I'd last like 3 days, and that was about it. Yeah, 3 days maximum. And then I moved out again. So this is 2023. I moved into a place with one of my other girls, who I love to bits. Again, smoking. You know, we had another friend that the whole friendship group. All we did was smoke, really and truly, or go out and club, like drink, smoke, clubbing on repeat. So I never really escaped it. I couldn't really escape it. And there'd be I think in May 2023, I really did try to stop because, again, I think I mentioned that I lost two family members, and it was really a lot for me. And I tried to stop smoking. I think I lasted a week, and then I fell right back into it. And I told my family that I stopped, but I didn't live with them, so they didn't know. But the people that were closest to me knew that I did not stop smoking. That I was still puffing on that thing. And then, so realistically, from 2017 to 2023, I was just smoking my lungs out. Everything just revolved around weed. Like, when you saw me, you'd know I'd be high. Like, my bag smelled of it. My bag was loud. Like, I just smelled of weed, and to the point that I didn't know I smelled of weed until now. When I see someone that's smoking, or when I see someone that looks normal, then I'll smell it. I'm just like, wow, they smell of weed. Is that how I used to smell? It's weird to even think of right now. So yeah, then food's ready. I did wash my hands, I promise you. But yeah, so I did try stop, and it was going well. It honestly, I felt like I was genuinely gonna stop smoking forever. And at that point, I was in a relationship, not real relationship, but a situationship, whatever people call it. And he wasn't a smoker. He didn't really like me smoking, so it did help me. Hello, trying to lick the tripod. It did help me, and it helped me cut down a lot. However, when we ended things August 2023, fully, like completely, it took a big toll on me, and I started to relapse even more and start smoking more, and started drinking more, and I was going out a lot more with the girls, etc., etc. And then, yeah, by God's grace,
Hallelujah.
my friend says, let's go to church, let's go to Cannes. I was like, I don't think you got the right person there, honey. I don't know who you talking about with me in church, yeah. So she ended up bringing me to church. And it was really life-changing, because look where I am now. I genuinely thank God for how he brought me from such a dark place, like bound to my mind,
bound to all the drugs. Bear in mind, like, I spoke about weed because that was the main problem, and alcohol, but I've tried like pills and stuff when we'd go to like house events, like those instance events. And I'd speak about them, but they didn't really do too much to me. Like, I didn't feel it. Mainly because I feel like my tolerance with weed was really high, that nothing else would work. So it was a lot. It was a lot. My life was just really, really dark, but I feel like people would not think that, in the sense, like, they think, wow, Anissa lived a really fun life. Like, she's always smiley, she's always bubbly. And I am, outside of my home. In my home is where I genuinely felt like the walls were caving in. And the people that are closest to me, like probably my mom, little brother, aunties, uncles, like, they knew me. So they knew that the Nisa that everyone else sees, that fun one, the outgoing one, that was high all the time, is not the Nisa. And I feel like because I've been battling with a lot of trauma, a lot of things that I didn't deal with, and I'm still learning to deal with now, instead of going to the drugs and the alcohol and all these things to help me, I'm now just running to the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, my Abba Father. I'm literally running to him at any given point. When I feel low, I just remember, Romans, I think it's 28, that says all things work for the good. And it brings me peace knowing that all things, no matter good or bad, everything works for the good of him and his kingdom. And that's why Jeremiah 29:11 has always been my favorite verse, because he literally states that, there's a hopeful and peaceful future that he's promised us. It may not be now, tomorrow, next year or so, but it will happen. He's promised that to me, and I'm holding him to that. I'm sorry, sir. I'm holding you to it, but he brought me so much peace. Like, again, the peace that I found was beautiful. I'm not gonna lie and say to you that, it's easy, because it's not.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
It's not. Dying to yourself every day is a thing. I'm sure in all these clips, you're going to be seeing like my double chin. And guess what? I don't care. I'm an eater. How about it? Dying to self every day is a lot. Dying to yourself is literally renewal of the mind daily, asking the Lord to renew you on a constant, renew your mind, because the past few weeks has been really difficult for me. I've had a lot going on, but the enemy has really been trying to pull me back to a place that God has delivered me out of. And it's crazy to see him try and do this, because he's been planting dreams constantly about me smoking, and it feels so real. And I'm just like, this is so weird. I wake up, I'm just like, the enemy thinks he's slick. You thought you got me there, but you didn't. How about that, mate? So yeah, he's really trying, mate. He's really trying me. There's times where I know that God's even stretching my capacity to handle things, because I'm being taken to places like mentally with what's going on in my life right now. God is stretching me. And usually I would run to smoking. I'd run to, the comfort of sadness when I'm going through stuff. But having to run to my Father's arms constantly is just showing that I need him. Proverbs 3:5, I do not lean on my own understanding. I trust in him always. I actually have no other choice but to trust in him. There's nothing else on this planet, or there's nothing else on this earth, in this world, that could give me the peace the way the Father's given me peace. Love you, but Jesus loves you more. Bye. I just thank Jesus for dying for me. And I'm making it very personal, because it's very personal to me. Like, you chose me and you didn't leave me to just be there. Even though Romans 1:24 states that, if you live in sin, he will give you over. And he gave me over. If I want to live like that, and it was my choice, I wanted to live like that, he said, go on then. But it doesn't mean that he's turned his back on you. His arms are always open and ready to receive you. And that was it. He left me to do what I want to do. But when I want to come back home, his home, he's ready to adopt me back into the house. And that's exactly what he done. I just thank him so much for that, Yeah.